Hi there. So I bought an RB, and well, did I need it? Well, that depends on who you ask. But if you hear me out, it might make a little bit more sense, or at least hopefully it'll make more sense to my wife. So let's go take some photos, and I will explain why I bought this cinder block of a camera. Whoop, gotcha.
Now, many of you know I'm a devout Pentax 6.7 user. Almost too devout, if you ask some.
Good morning. Wait.
So I already know what you're thinking. If you already own a Pentax 6.7, you have a 6.7 camera, why do you need another one? Why would you ever own another 6.7 format camera? Well, there's many reasons for that, but the main one being it's not even a 6.7 camera. So I know this is named the RB67, and it's most famously known for shooting 6x7, but probably one of the craziest features about this camera is that you have multiple backs. They make 6.45 backs, 6x7, 6x8, 6x9. They make so many different backs for this camera, it's actually insane. And so the fact that I'm not constricted to one format when I'm shooting is incredible. So if I need more photos for a project, I can throw in a 6.45 back and get those 16 images. Or if I need more real estate for an image, I can throw in a 6x8 or a 6x9 back. I'm not constricted to just one format. And speaking of interchangeable backs, not only can you change the format of this camera, but you can also change film stocks mid-roll. So I can be shooting black and white for a few images, and then if I want to switch to color, I just throw in a back that I've loaded color film into. And you can even make it more fun and get a back that shoots Instax film. There's limitless options almost when it comes to this camera just by throwing on a different back. So for the vast majority of film cameras, unfortunately, they're electronically controlled into some capacity. This practically makes them all ticking time bombs because once they're gone, they're gone. Especially cameras that are 100% mechanical, say a Contax T2 or a GA645. Those cameras are completely controlled electronically, so once they go out, they're done. But with this camera, amazingly enough, it is 100% mechanical. This means that all of the parts in this camera are controlled mechanically through mechanical parts, say like springs and screws and gears. Everything that moves and happens and whatever on this camera is controlled mechanically. So if this camera ever goes out on me, I can just bring it to a local camera repair shop and they can add in another spring or a gear, whatever that broke on it, they can usually fix. All this to say is that you have some pretty long-term insurance when it comes to shooting with this camera. When you think of lens systems, the RB probably isn't the system that you think of right off the bat, and if you do, it's usually 99% of the time the one 10mm for the RZ actually, but there's something special about these Mamiya lenses. Everything from the Mamiya 7 to the RZ, RB, the 645, even the 35mm cameras that they've put out, the Mamiya lenses, every time I use them, I am just completely blown away. They're extremely sharp, but they still have character. There's just like a texture to them, if that makes sense, that I have yet to find in any other lens system. I don't know, man, I can't even really explain it. These lenses are just special. All of the Mamiya lenses are, no matter what camera system they're in. Now, one of the useful things about these lenses is that they're all leaf shutter lenses, so that means you get access to higher sync speeds when shooting with strobes. So this camera is much more geared towards studio work or landscape work where you're shooting at a high f-stop and you don't need very high shutter speeds because this lens caps out at 1/400th of a second. But again, you're not really shooting anything very fast with this camera, so it doesn't really matter. touched on this in my last video, and it'll be up here somewhere if you missed it. I talked about the experience that film cameras have and how each one has a unique experience when you shoot it, and how that's very important to me as a photographer. That's one of the reasons why I shoot film, is because it's a much more hands-on, tactile process compared to digital. And this camera, for me at least, checks all of those boxes. Especially someone like myself who has recently really fallen in love with the process of 4x5, you're getting a very, very similar experience with the RB. You have the rotating back between horizontal and portrait. You have all the different advances for the film, for the shutter. You have the flip up viewfinder here that's inverted, pretty similar to large format. It's just such a hands-on process when it comes to shooting this camera. And like I said in my last video, it really makes you feel like you're making an image versus just pushing a button. Not to mention that it's much more convenient than shooting 4x5, that's for sure. I've been working on this project for a little bit over a year now, which I'll definitely be talking about later this year, but it's required me to shoot a lot of rural areas and document those landscapes. And there have definitely been times where I kind of have to jump out of the car, take a quick photo and hop back in the car because it's not always the safest conditions, we'll say that. And this camera has kind of bridged those two gaps for me between shooting 4x5 but still being able to be efficient and fast when it comes to taking a photo when I need to. All this to say is that I really love this camera. It's such a romantic camera when it comes to shooting film. I have enjoyed it thoroughly and I don't see myself ever getting rid of it. If you're an RB shooter and you feel like I left something out about this camera, please leave a comment down below so we can all nerd out about this camera together. Again, I love this camera so much and I can't wait to show some of the work that I make with it. As always, thank you so much for watching. I can't appreciate it enough for watching my videos and all the support. So until next time, I will see you later.